Good day, lords and ladies. Welcome back to Wildermyth with me, Cornish-knight. We've just taken over Baron Windmill and we're going to fortify it. Okay. Playing the resources, got a little bit of hardwood, a little bit of fabric. Warding is quite nice, actually. Who could do with some? These three would all get a tick in warding if they got it. Since he's going to be up close to melee, I'm probably going to give it to... These two are melee fighters, so her and the Wolfman being close is understandable. So they've got it. We now need to clear out this area. And we need to do it relatively quickly, actually, because the next calamity is on the way. Okay. Yeah, let's go for the Rose Springs shop, which will give us Heartwood, Iron, and Spell Thread if we can claim it. The sun's fallen and silver fog floats from the trees where shadows pool. Sally, stop for a second. You're able to see? I don't want to step into a badger's in bear doings. Can't remember gloom quite like this. You listen. The twilight birds are silent. The quiet forms a fence around them, impenetrable. The whirling air almost utterly opaque. What if they can't find this kettle, Pauly, Malin? I think we need to not stand here. Let's get to those trees. At least they're solid. They halt just inside the shelter of the pines, the dark air clinging wet, trunks they press to dampen their palms. I don't like tree clinging generally. And then something vast moves beside them slowly, achingly slowly. It passes, too enormous to be seen, impossibly silent. My heart sounds like dog feet as the creature passes them by. And continues on. Night's fallen. The fog wanders away, clinging to the fertile outlay of that gigantic shadow. And they exchange looks. Let's find the others. Maybe they saw it too. Maybe they saw it better. I'd rather us take a look now. Trails will go cold quick in the dark. Let's do that. Come, bother. The fog's gone. Should be safe now. Lead on then, hope you don't mind if I stay ready. The night, emptied of silence, fills again with noise, crickets and owls and scuttering ferrets, approximating where the giant had passed. They search. They find no footprints, or are there? Pools of green light have spaced along between the unbroken pine trunks, perhaps at a distance to match the thing's huge stride. Even as they watch, the light pools rapidly shrink into the ground, drying, sinking, perhaps just fading like starlight. Sally runs to stoop over one of them and scoops the earth away from the tip with the tip of her wand. Careful, her daughter says. She plucks a glowing seed from the ground as it tries to burrow deeper. It slips her grasp but then floats, settling in the air. Rustle, rustle. Think there's bone dogs on the prowl. Snatching the seed, Sally secures it in her pocket. This sounding distance, right? Certainly worth a try. Kettle, Pauly, Malin. Their friends find them, but so do the enemies. Yeah, we lose. That's bad. Okay. And these guys are up and about as well. Now let's start. Get everyone into the gloom. Okay. Discus could work. They're not close enough for Splinter Blast. Excellent. We took out 2 of them. And then we'll grab the tree. You can move up behind cover. Here comes the second one. Let's remove their armors, shall we? If we could hit. They're coming from there next turn. Okay. Don't think we can get close enough for an attack. No, unfortunately. A shame. That's what I was worried about. Right. One second, folks. Okay, so that one's taken care of. Let's get Guardian up. Splinter Blast from here may reach. No, okay. There we go. Nice solid ambush. Increased armor is nice. Let's see. Gives her a point of armor, gives him a point of armor, gives him a point of armor. Since he's in melee a lot, increase his armor. Once again, the night air belongs to the songs of ordinary creatures. Everyone's still here. I hate a night battle. Keep knocking into trees, says Kettle. Sally and Bovair recount what they saw, Colossus striding silently through the silver fog. The others never saw more than the giant banks of mist separating them. They make a further search for signs of the giant passing, but as forced to camp precious hours from sunrise, having found nothing. Your enigma, little seed. Sally plants it on a sun-blessed hillside in the bed of soft earth. Who knows what will sprout? Okay, they get +1 damage, which is annoying. We're going to quickly grab this location, because I really want to get this done before the calamity gets here. Time for pie. Bonus damage. Okay. He would get a point additional damage, so we'd see. We can start working on her. Right now I'm going to boost his bonus damage. We'll start this location with everything we've got, and let's hope we can get there before either the calamity or the infestation starts, because I really want to try and ward those off. Yeah, okay. Dismiss, and let's assault. A drover charges up the hill. Warlord, your enemies are across the gold stream, like sky-trapped thunder. Should not Winston Perrick be bringing us this news? Winston Perrick is. I volunteered to come, and... Quiet, Adrian, return to your post. I submit my same. I struggled, thinking to engage our foes myself, but instead I have done as bidden. I am here to give orders, or else we bucked. Always see similar to this, saying much and fast what is need to know. Fight? Be patient, Warlord. A winged knight is usually a long talker. In truth, I ask you to learn about her. In truth, I ask you to learn upon her youth, wisdom, her warrior's head. Winsik Perak. We seek victory over a foe that is smaller than us, but pesky and hard to smash. Advise us. That if I am bothered by a scale skate, I lie myself still. I lie myself still and tempt it with my arm flesh. When it lands to drink, even my tail can strike it off. A winged knight warlord, for then, talks much, but not wastefully. They are our best and most brilliant, from egg to sky. Your enemies will come to you, waiting amongst the chains and stones. We will cage them there, and we will triumph. It will require brutal speed on the part of my foot troops. I should be off. This is smart-headed, yes. In human words, in soft skull words, lure them into an ambush. Lure them all in an ambush. Lure them all in a bush. I should get my helmet. Foren turns where he goes to meet his foe. Your task remains the same, Sovak. The Pale will call your debt paid if your blade is needed. Tick tick. The Pale is only you, Vasek. Is only you, Versinek. Sral, do you belittle my brain? Sorry, the Pale is only you, Vernikil. Verswell, do you belittle my brain? Debts cannot survive their creditors, you know. Versek B. They sort of turn around in surprise. Be wise. I am not toothless either. A few moments later, what's there, Malin? Pretty quiet for a work site. For then, our Bonehelm Knight, the captive becomes the captor. He's unlike any drover I've seen, arms himself heavily, hard not to see his old cruel master in him. In the pit below, the Drovan warlord stands mountainous and strange. Sun gallops on his bone plate plates as he casts around for a neck to cut. Gives me a feeling like 12-ish years ago. Can we hope that there's no second boot to come swinging in behind us? Dravan will leave you an opening, confident you can't kill them, and that you'll leave your own throat vulnerable trying. The thing is to do is to strike hard and fast when they expect. Right, so they've got creeps in the darkness without a sound, communicating with gestures and smell, basically a rogue. A stormthroat, an archer, fangbow. It's rumoured the elite Dovan archers don't breathe for minutes at a time. They hold a drawn bow level for so long that it seems possible. And then we have Bone Guard. The clink of iron and clack of bone plate announces every step. Even out of stillness, the Devar elite can swing a heavy halberd with sudden power. Okay, so yeah, this is going to be a nasty fight, because then we'll probably have to fight our way back out of the ambush. So let's start this shindig. Get over here. Pull him in. You move up. We'll infuse this. Illuminate it so next turn you can do something. You can take the elite trooper out. And you two are going to push because you've got Paladin up. They sound the alarm, unfortunate, but that was going to be the case. Ah, see, it blocked. Okay, you go for him. You get a free bite. It won't kill him, but this will, as you sort of drive your pawed hand into its gut. We're going to relocate and take it out with an arrow. You're going to get up here and get Guardian up. You're going to move to support. And you're going to move to support as well. The problem is Defoe's nowhere here now, so we can't be messing about. Okay, let's end a turn. Kick the door open. Right. No, we're going to go with pile of gear. Okay, that wasn't great. Oh, it did take damage, but it's trapped. Put an arrow into him, please. You're going to get here. We're going to go hide everyone. And the rest of you are going to push up. The problem is we know that this is going to be an ambush. Okay, so yeah. So let's infuse. We can't infuse that. That's too far. We're being flanked, that's the question. I don't like this. Okay, get him to here. You've got a cone of flame, which will give us a nice solid hit. And a tree springs up. Vaven falls snarling, death is over his shoulder, if only... Vaven falls snarling, death is over his shoulder, if he'll only glance at it. Face me alone, skinny archer. But several things happen in a blink. Coming from camouflage, a wire-limbed drover leers and half laughs. Ac fe suk if hen. He swings a long knife, whistling sharp, while a spike net swirls in his hidden hand. From above, then a swooping shadow turns into a tall soldier. Das ach awen vegren. The warlord snarls something. The Deven warrior stands grimly coiled, measuring the field with frustrated eyes. Thus when Akpir stem, then move to guard the warlord's retreat. It takes less than 6 breaths, the battle is still wildly undecided. If we let the warlord live, I'm here to cut chains, Sally. Cutting heads has to come second. Finical. Zavek, long-limbed and sly, swaggering, he somehow seems to slip from view, even as one stares into his cold, hungry gaze. More foes join the battle. Kill all the enemies. Okay. Get Guardian up. He blocked. But oh. This is bad. Especially with those guys turning up. Right, we need to get her up here right now. That should give him temp HP and draw out the poison. Let's get Splinter Blast running. He dodged. Well, at least we put an arrow into him. Right. He dodged as well. Get Guardian up. Ooh, that's bad. This is really bad. Man, they just keep blocking. Right, at least we pinned them. And he's getting that up. I'm getting sick of this guy dodging. That won't work. Right. That's up. Cone of Fire. Illuminate. Well, let's first get him. You're going to get stabbed in the face. Then you're going to get down here. Really? They blocked again? That poison is going to be bad if we don't keep it under control. Okay. Right, Steel Fire. Man, that thing's annoying. Get here. Stab it in the face. Let's illuminate. Cancel, because that will. Yeah, let's. Man, this is getting bad. These guys just keep turning up. He's going to die from poison if we're not careful. We need to end this fight now. Right. Get there. Get that done. Steel Fire. We need to try and kill this guy this turn. Okay. Before he, that was so close. If he'd taken more damage, he would have died. Right, stun chance went up. That's basically critical hit chance. Let's give it to her because she has a wand that means if she gets a crit hit, she gets an action back. So let's get her crit hit chance up. Okay. Repose will counterattack after successful melee, block or dodge. Nope. Merlin gives adjacent allies bonus damage and spell damage. It's nice. Passive. After a range attack against him or an adjacent ally, Merlin counterattacks with ranged melee attack. That's quite good. Shreds 1 more armor. I'm going to grab the archery because it's good to have. A net. Okay. Once per combat. Woven with iron vine. Once per combat, individual holes a net. No. I'm going to go for just the fabric. I'm conflicted with the feeling that our planning is superior and we just tend to outbrute them. So, I am conflicted with the feeling that their planning is superior and we just tend to outbrute them. Let's move together. Who knows how many more are left? We'll find the captives at least. We should stop. Warlord rest. By that rock formation, rock group. See it? Because this guy looks more injured than you. You should have chosen someone better. He was who I had, Zavek. Zavek was indebted to our order. His sentence of exile forsworn by my mentor. He guarded Thwain secretly for 9 years, unerring. He was an egg eater, and you were lucky he was there in time. The warlord's life. No, I wasn't lucky. I told him to be where he was, and he was there. I made contingencies and kept your warlord alive, but your intervention was late, Winsang Perek. You gave us no time. I only made it back as soon as I did because I heard fighting. It was out of my hands, for Soft Skulls came in faster and stronger than Zavek's dead. Our forces have been behind us massacred. It gives me no pleasure to say so, but there's a reason they won the last 2 wars. Drasnak called them what they are, beasts. Beast is what they say is Dravan, and Dravan is thinking them beasts, so we are beasts together. A beast family, ripping at throats, roaring in darkness, whipping and mocking and chain giving to each other when a sick or sad family is, I think now, we all. We dug out tunnels, dug and mined, in and down and in, looking for things, differences, old rock. The smallest one said, old? Was there mention of any particular historical period? Did you find what they wanted you to find? No, our family didn't anyway. We were kept in families, together. News got around, neighbour to neighbour, chain to chain. I think we would have heard something. Drafnak, the Dravan lore-seeker I once aided. The books he liked were full of lost legends. Some dealt with old stone, but summoned mountains to itself. Those were remains. Warlord Thwain, you make a picture that is very, very grim. Please illuminate. Explain, say, do you think Dravan are humans is same? I am meaning a thing I am difficult to say. Don't tread into swamps, either of you. We are not ruined. Still, you have loyal forces abroad, Warlord. That sight was only one of several hopes, and nearly exhausted anyway. We'll go further now, to a place no one cares for, and if we must, we'll dig with Dravan arms. Our warriors need grinding, need making tough, don't they? Why? Says the general. Callie. I grew up with dragon tales. I've invested lengths of time studying mythologies and where they cross into realities. Dragons themselves, their devices, dragons control, romance, we'll say. They nourish the romantic ideal, trumpeting over the unbeatable, for love. And yet dragons there were once, to To we Dravan, there were mothers and fathers, 5 dragons, 1 of each season, and the 5th who went away from the world. Your family comes from true antiquity, Malin. You're called Dragon Slayers, and that's not for no reason, I think. But yes, few Dravan now hold them to be more than myths, origin myths. Dravsanax or Devo, the Pale, their claim has always been the dragon bloodline. Well put. A name can be, at least I think... but a name can be, or at least I've come to think a name, some ancestor sometime can make anything up. Under earth, under rock, under unnumbered years, dragon's flesh is stone into stone decays, dragon hearts to opal hard, and there becomes their own life egg to spark in later days. Well, if they dig for dragons, they'll dig a long time, is my feeling. At least they'll do it with their own claws, not human sweat and tears, not slaves. Right, another 11 years of peace. We got some resources. Okay, they lost some things, not a lot. A bit of health and one of the things from one of the factions that's not relevant to the main story. During years of peace, achievement unlocked. Malin and Beauvais came home to their smiling, eager listening son, burdened with a life weight of stories with which to entertain him. Some tales were sad and moving, others brief and adventurous. Rarely in the years that followed were they or their boy found apart. Okay, so the boy grew up. What are we going to give him? Jump jaw, piercing sword is nice. Increases with potency. Ambush is good, but we'll give him piercing sword. During the years of peace, got another thing. Oh, here we go. Me and my familiar get a pet. This is, I believe. Sally tended her mystic seed until one day it sprouted. Where maybe sprouted wasn't the right word. It burst up into a shower of dirt, producing small, fond noises. What do you see in me? I'm not a gentlewoman. Guess I don't. Say, what do you see in me? I'm not a gentlewoman. Guess I don't eat a lot of vegetables, though. Its growth would be incredibly slow, but perhaps endless. Kettle returned many times to Clan Plains to visit his father and tell him about all his many adventures. Kettle and Borley's wedding followed river tradition. They placed painted stones in a boat to represent all the cares of their old lives, then sent it downstream. Weighing whether or not to float away yourself, never without you, but together maybe we should make our getaway while everyone's distracted with food. Sometimes I'm worried that once times were peaceful, we wouldn't have anything left to talk about. If you need more drama, I'm sure I could come up with something, says Kettle. The warlord Theron recovered, and after his defeat turned his army loose upon the wild lands, bringing petty Dovan factions under his sway. The Great Digs became a rite of passage amongst his soldiers, a gauntlet of endurance, a point of pride. That they served no true purpose only made them more noble, fit for warriors. The warlord aged and grew more impatient. T'Chan. Less reliant of those he once clung to. Kettle Clarkson's son has reached adventuring age. Heck, Yoen has joined the compatriots of the Blooming Angel as a warrior. Okay, I will say, this is the only bit I find a bit weird about Wildermyth. Like, we know that only 11 years have passed, so he had a kid that reached adulthood in, 11 years. Maybe it's the wolf blood. Let's just say it's the wolf blood. Backslam, Wolf Call, Blood Rage are hard abilities. Swift action, every other turn, Hex knocks an enemy up to 3 tiles away, dealing 2 damage, 1 damage for each armor X has. So that's good if he has a lot of armor. Wolf Call, after successfully killing X, after successful kill, Hex's allies gain +2 speed, Blood Rage, passive, infuriated by wounds. Hex deals +1 damage for every 2 missing health. Let's go Blood Rage. Seems in pace. Want to give him an extra leg? It drops his block down, unfortunately. Increases his speed. No, if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to go with the arms. Yeah, we could make him a full wolfman. Yeah, let's do it. Increase his speed slightly. A slight drop in block is not great, but hey ho. And there comes the lad out of retirement. We have some bits and pieces. Right. First and foremost, the lad needs to have a better suit of armor. Even if it's just tier 1 stuff. I mean, that's really good. That's going to take like all of our gubbins. And I've been meaning to get his stuff upgraded for some time. Let's upgrade his... this is the thing, so many people, so little time. When's her retirement age? 79. Yeah, like she's going to retire at the end of this chapter. So there's not a lot... I'm not going to give her a lot of gear because like she's going to be out of this relatively soon. So... Okay. We need to upgrade her wand then. That would take a good chunk of our... The thing is, like, that's her prime damage dealer. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. Chain Coil, I don't like it. Beast Dire, the Grey King and Sorcerer. Nah. Autumn Coiler, Fox Frog, Omen's Perch. Let's go create Omen's Perch for her so she gets that. We'll give him this. And then he can get a better bow. Do you want to give him a water bow like his old man? Yeah. Let's go that. It's going to use up most of my heart iron, unfortunately. My heartwood, unfortunately. And that leaves the boy. That leaves Hex. Now, do I want to give him a sword and board? That's the question. I can't, because I don't have enough heartwood. Okay. Can't give him a great axe either. Can give him a great sword though. There's a straight up leaf great sword early on. Yeah, let's do that. And we call it Worm Fate. And give him the ingot. Just give him basic armor upgrade. Okay. Got a lot of fabric. Yeah, out of spell thread. If we get a bit more, we could give her something better. Okay. Right, let's see. Can't upgrade that anymore. Right, that applies poison to an weapon to be delivered by your next attack. Poison enemies take damage at the start of the turn, usable twice per mission as a swift action. Okay. Okay. Could give her that. Gives her action back on the turn. We only have it for this story. But I'd rather say I'll save my spell thread to basically be able to... Rather be able to save my spell thread so I could give it to her. To get a better... increase her gear to level 2 in the mission. Yeah, but I think we're going to leave it here for now, folks. I've been Cornish-knight. This has been Wildermyth full release, and we are about to go into the 3rd chapter. And I shall see you all again next time. Goodbye, folks.